Hello, Springford, and welcome to our third installment of Springford Snapshot, a show where we recognize both students and faculty's specialties.
Today, we have a new group of 8 people from Springford whose lives and talents outside of school and the workplace have gone unrecognized up until now. Mark, who do we have first?
Well, Caitlin, we have a very intriguing interview to start off today's episode. As you know, the spring musical Once on This Island premiered this weekend, and as I was watching, I couldn't help but think about the extra work that goes in behind the scenes.
As someone who is involved in tech crew for Springford Theater, I can assure you there is a lot of talent backstage, from the people who have to move the biggest of sets to those who have to keep track of the smallest of props.
Speaking of props, Rachel Arnott took on the role of prop manager for this year's production. Let's take a look at what she had to say about her journey through this program.
I'm Rachel and I do props for stage crew. I started stage crew in 9th grade. I started for the spring musical, so I didn't do the fall play. And I then went to sophomore year and I did the spring musical again. And then 11th and this year, my 12th grade year, I did the play and the musical. And I started as just doing like normal moving props on stage and moving big pieces on stage. And then this year I am in charge of all props, so I have to give jobs to people and make sure that they have a job within the musical. So I have to make sure that every prop, so whether it's a plate or a bed sheet or a table, is in place so that when another stage crew member needs it, they can take it right on stage and there's no question about where it is or who has it and everything like that. What I like about stage crew is that it gives me an opportunity to be involved with the school in a way that you wouldn't usually think of when you think of being involved with schools. And I get to meet a lot of new people every year when 9th graders come in and join stage crew, or meeting kids that are in the actual cast that I never would have met before. And it also is a way to understand how hard it is to put on a show. Stage crew has definitely taught me commitment, because if you're not there, then an extra prop or an extra piece of furniture or an extra light or extra mic might not be able to run because you're not there to take care of it. And without that, then the whole show could go downhill. So you definitely need to be committed, and it definitely has taught me commitment. I've also met a lot of really good friends in stage crew, and some of them have become my best friends, and every year we get to hang out on the days that we have tech and have fun watching the play and watching the musicals, while also learning a lot about the backstage work. What I would say to kids that want to join stage crew is to definitely try it and get involved, because even if you suffer from stage fright or you are scared to be on stage, but you really like the idea of musicals or plays or anything involving theater, it's a great way to be involved and get to live the experience without actually going on stage in the broad daylight and having to recite lines. So you're staying within your comfort zone while also getting that same experience that all the kids on cast get as well.
That package reminded me a lot about my interview with Sophia Siliberto, who herself is a part of a different type of production.
I know Sophia personally, and she has told me the extensive amount of hours she has put into her competitive dancing career. I'm so glad she took the chance to share this with you, because her talent is one that keeps audiences in awe.
Sophia, take it away.
Hi, my name is Sophia Siliberto, and I've been a competitive dancer for 9 years. What got me into dancing was when I was younger, I was in a Girl Scout troop, and we did a dance in the talent show, and the girl who choreographed it, I instantly fell in love with her, and I wanted to take class with her, so I went to where she taught, and then now I'm here 9 years later. The majority of dances that I do are in the styles of contemporary, jazz, tap, musical theater, and I do take ballet classes, but we don't usually do dances out of that style. My favorite is contemporary and tap, because contemporary is a very emotional style and allows me to express myself, and tap is very rhythmic and can be sort of a challenge sometimes, and it just allows me to learn and grow. Typically in a week, I spend up to 17 hours at dance. I take 9 classes throughout the week, about 3 hours each night, Monday through Thursday. And then on Saturday, we have our competition team rehearsals, where I'm there from 9 to 5 just rehearsing our competition dances. My most memorable dance experience is probably all the competitions that we do. Being a competitive dancer, we usually go to about 6 to 7 competitions a year, and it really just gives my team just a chance to bond, and they're very fun, and it's always nice to win a little bit. It makes you feel good, you know. What inspires me to dance is I feel like Especially today, there's a lot of videos on social media of people who are just like insanely talented, and it just inspires me to like keep working and keep growing to maybe someday be at that level. I would tell my younger self to just keep going, because there have been times where I've been discouraged from dance, whether it be teachers or classes, but in the end, it's always just been such a positive thing in my life. I would tell young aspiring dancers just to find what speaks to them, because I know that throughout my years I found that certain styles like jazz, musical theater aren't my favorite, and that contemporary really speaks to me. But you should train in every style just to be a well-rounded dancer.
Thank you, Sophia. Caitlin, have you ever thought about entering those numerous contests that play on the radio?
You know, Mark, my family has taken the time to enter a couple, but we've only ever been fortunate enough to win one. But I'm not complaining, it was a trip to Spain.
How about you test your luck again with some of these helpful tips our very own Springford teacher, Miss O'Toole, provides after her abundance of wins?
Hi, I'm Miss O'Toole. I teach statistics in room 185, and I like to apply my statistics to radio wins, and I like to win a lot of stuff on the radio. What got me started, a couple things. So I won the 98.1 Vacation a Day prize, and I had put in for that when I was like 18 years old. It was a prize supposed to be for Disney World, and they called me, I don't know, 15 years later. I was actually in school, I was doing my prep, people were saying 98.1's calling your name, you want a trip, and it was a trip to the Caribbean. And so then about a year later is when I really got into winning more often. A friend of mine wanted some Luke Bryan tickets, and I was like, he's pretty cool, I'll go try. Second time I called, I won, and it just all went from there. All right, so last year I won about 155 prizes. The year before that, a little over 100, and then a few before that. So a total of about 300 prizes in the last 3 years. I give the majority of my prizes away. I have had some great experiences with friends as well, but for the most part, I give most of it away. I don't know what percentage, but most of it goes away. Some of it goes to charity. Different organizations around the school I've donated to as well. My favorite prize, anything to do with Luke Bryan. So I won a meet and greet with him, along with two tickets, and I also won a signed guitar. Okay. So my favorite station to win from is XTU, or it was anyway. They have new rules now on there. I used to be able to win every day, and that was kind of my big thing because I love country music. Now I win more consistently from 98.1 because I can win every day from there. So I have a couple records. When it first started, it was right before school was starting back in August a couple years ago. I was at somewhere in 35 wins, and Mrs. Merja challenged me to win 100 things before the end of the year. I was like, no way I can do that. And because at the time the rules were I could still win every day, I was able to actually win 100 in that first year. And then last year I was able to win 155. And my goal for last year was to win them so that I had 100 different wins. In the first year I had a lot that were the same thing, so maybe I won like 10 tickets to see Lady Antebellum, for example. Last year I wanted to make sure that they were all unique prizes that I won. So I hit that goal of a little over 100. So the secret is just persistence. So if you know statistics, it's what happens in the long run. So my winning's about a 10%. So 10% of the time I win, which means 90% of the time I lose. So I have to keep trying and trying and trying. It's all about persistence. So I've called about 3,000 times to win 300 prizes. So the big key is you just have to stick with it. Most people will give up if it's like caller 92. So that's the big thing. You also have to get to know the DJs a little bit. Some of them will go off earlier than others, some will wait longer than others, but you have to win to kind of know that. You have to listen to the station, be sort of a loyal listener, and figure out what they're doing as well.
While some people like Miss O'Toole are listening to the radio for contests, others are listening to gain inspiration for their own musically inclined endeavors.
Did you know that Trevor Detweiler, a senior here at Springford, creates his own music in his spare time?
Connor Godfrey learned firsthand how Trevor drops his beats.
My name's Trevor Detweiler, and I make music.
Yeah, I had to do it with my bros.
I say I started about 2 years ago when me and my friends started getting software and equipment, and that's really when we started experimenting. I mainly focus on making rap beats, EDM, any really genre in EDM, like drum step, future bass, dubstep, anything along those lines. I'd say the most rewarding part about making music is just putting your music out there for people to listen to. When I publish my songs, I like seeing all the comments and feedback from people on social media, like Instagram, SoundCloud. It just really motivates me. When I hear people talking about my music, it just makes me feel good knowing that there's people out there who really show interest in my music and what I make. I'd say the hardest part about making music and beats is really the time that it takes to make everything. Like, you're sitting there for maybe 3 to 5 hours, so it really just takes up a lot of time. Patience is really key in making music because you need to find the right sound, key, note. All that is really time consuming. The most important part about EDM is really the build up and the drop, because without the build up, the drop is nothing. And the drop is really what gets everyone interested in the song that you're making. I love making music so much, and I plan on making it for as long as I can.
Staying in the same realm of entertainment, Nolan Schweitzer discusses his dedication to filmmaking.
In the following interview, Nolan talks about his start in the industry and how he has turned it into his lifelong passion.
Hi, my name is Nolan Schweitzer, and I'm a filmmaker. I originally started filmmaking around the 8th grade when my buddy first got a GoPro. We made these short videos, probably 15 seconds, and did not take much time for me to decide that I wanted one for myself. So me being a kid, I went to my parents, asked them if they could get me one of these little cameras, and they said sure, and this camera ended up changing my life for the better. I continued to make these little videos that I thought were good at the time. They weren't, but I was slowly progressing as I made more. As I got better, I decided that it would be a good idea to start investing in better equipment that would make my videos look as good as possible. Long story short, I worked my way up to a Canon 80D, which is exactly what this is being shot on right now. Soon after that, I got a gimbal to avoid shakiness of the camera, keeps it nice and steady. And then I got a microphone to improve the audio. In fact, that is right here, filming this sound. I use this equipment at football games, soccer games, basketball games, you name it, to get the best shots I possibly can. After shooting a video, I'll return to my studio, which is actually my bedroom, and I will edit for a countless amount of time. Editing to me is a perfect way for me to express my creativity, and it gives me the freedom to do whatever I want with my footage. After I finish editing the video is finally finished, I'll post it all over my social media pages and receive amazing feedback from all my friends and classmates. I would have to say this is by far one of the best parts of the filmmaking process. Hearing your friends and family compliment something you put your heart and soul into, it gives you a feeling of joy that I can't even explain. Without filmmaking, honestly, I'm not too sure where I would be today. It's become such a large part of me, and hopefully will be an even bigger part of me in the future as I try to find a career related to film.
That was very interesting to learn about Nolan's extensive knowledge and love for cameras and film.
Similarly, Jaden Razor has found his niche in the art of graphic design and photography.
How about we see what Bernie Check learned in the next interview with this Springford junior?
Hi, my name is Jaden Razor. I'm a junior at Springford High School, and I'm a photographer. I want to go to college for photography and eventually open up my own studio. Last year in 10th grade, one of my art pieces was submitted to a photo competition at a local community center. And then this year, one of my graphic design pieces is being submitted to the to an art show at Arcadia University. So there's prizes, and it's judged by an admissions officer from Tyler University, which is an art school, and another college. Going through the different programs at Springford has really helped me hone my skills, and Mrs. Rudloff especially has helped inspire me. Monday and Thursday after school, I work at Kumon Math and Reading Center, and it's a learning enrichment center. We focus on helping kids build their math and reading skills from a very, very early age so that they can get a little extra edge within high school and college. So I took this one picture in 5th or 6th grade, and I really liked the way it turned out. And I don't know, it just kind of inspired me to keep taking pictures. So to this day, I still just take pictures whenever I'm inspired and see stuff that I like. And then in high school, I opted to take photo 1 and photo 2, and now I'm in graphic design. Photography is really important to me because it's an artistic outlet for me, and it helps me express myself. And it's also just really fun for me. I love doing it, and I'm super passionate about it. There's nothing more satisfying than taking photos and then finishing editing them and seeing that final product and seeing like what you're capable of.
Mark, these next 2 interviews I know a thing or two about, considering they happen right in my backyard. Why don't we take a trip across the ocean to Europe?
Taking into account your experience with moving across the globe, I am sure you can relate to Victor in this next interview, who discusses his trials and tribulations with his big move across the Atlantic.
Hi, my name is Victor and I'm currently a senior at Springford High School. I lived in Spain for the first 16 years of my life. Growing up in Spain basically meant that I didn't have much of an artistic education. Most of my focus in school was to study basically math, science, and history. I moved to Springford sophomore year, and a major turning point in my life occurred when filling out my schedule, I had to decide whether to fill it out with public speaking or broadcasting. I decided to take broadcasting because as a child I wanted to become a movie director. What I didn't know is that making that small choice sophomore year would lead to me pursuing filmmaking as a career and as my life devotion. I'll never forget walking into the green screen room, and as Mert was teaching us how to use all of the equipment, I put my hands on the camera, and in that very moment I knew that filmmaking was something that I wanted to do for the rest of my life. Through broadcasting, I was able to finally tap into my creative side, a side that I had neglected for so long and that I didn't know existed. I'm really thankful for all that Springford and Merge have done for me when it comes to allowing me to explore my creativity and to push myself with every new project. As a member of the Broadcasting Major 2 class, I work on some school-related projects such as filming board meetings and developing video yearbook packages. But I also get to work on some independent work, and I'm overall allowed a lot of freedom when it comes to signing out equipment or creating my own projects, which is really the beauty of broadcasting at our school. Senior year, I explored my creativity even further by taking graphic design and photography. I've grown to like photography because although I enjoy the process of filmmaking more, I sometimes need to get my creativity out, and I have this idea or concept that is too short for a movie. So what I've done is I created an Instagram photography account which I upload daily to, and through that I am constantly working on concepts, creativity, and execution, and it keeps me on my feet and always looking for what's next. Moving to the US was the best decision I ever made because it opened so many doors for me that I didn't even know were a possibility. If I could talk to my younger self, I would definitely tell him to take broadcasting instead of public speaking because that class will change his life forever.
Mark, while we are in Europe, why don't we take a quick detour to Limerick, Ireland, and see what Ashley has to say on her upcoming ventures through the country.
Michaela DiFrancesco asks Ashley about this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity that has not only opened her eyes to the Irish culture, but has also given her some lifelong friends.
Hi, my name is Ashley Hudak. I'm in 12th grade, and I decided to join the Limerick to Limerick program. So the Limerick to Limerick program is where students from Limerick, Pennsylvania, go to Limerick, Ireland, and stay there for 2 weeks, and vice versa. Those students will come over here. What made me want to apply for this program was seeing throughout my high school career students from Ireland walking around the hallways and in uniforms, like you could definitely tell who they were, but just seeing them come out and knowing that I was going to make a great bond with people, and I've had exchange students stay with me before, like having more with me, like it was an experience I couldn't turn down. I think the most rewarding part about having the Irish here is just enriching them in our culture, because over there they don't have as many shops or fast food places or anything like that, but having them come here just to see what it's like, a new culture, a new perspective, and getting to teach them like new words and everything, I think that's like insane, and it's mind-blowing just to think other cultures and different ways and how they function. I think one of the most exciting things I'm looking forward to is actually going to Ireland, and I have several relatives over there as well. So when I go over there, I'm looking forward to seeing them again and everything, doing their fun adventures. But I think I'm also looking forward to meeting up with a couple of my relatives I've never met before. Some of the things we did when the Irish were here was we took them to New York and DC and stayed over there overnight just to show them what the Big Apple was like and all our famous monuments and museums and everything like that. We also took them to Philly, gave them a famous Philly cheesesteak, as well as took them to a Flyers game to get enriched in our Philly culture and give them all the excitement. We also wanted to take them to like local places, so like Arnold's, the mall, outlets, and we took them out to eat a lot because they don't have Wawa or Chick-fil-A over there, which is hard to live without over here, but to them, like, they thought that was the greatest thing ever. I think when we first met each other, it was a little awkward, but once we started getting to know each other, we started realizing each other's slang terms, so some of the cool words and stuff the Irish would say. Some of the fun stuff we taught the Irish were, that's tough, because just saying that's tough, or like John, or all the Philly stuff you wouldn't expect. And some cool stuff they taught us was, that's class, which is like, that's awesome. They'd say lovely a lot, like that dinner was lovely, like it was funny, because we don't say that here. And they also say aluminum as aluminium. I would say my favorite memory with having the Irish over here was either going to New York and DC with everybody or snow tubing, because over there they get snow once in a blue moon, and seeing everybody get together, going down on the snow tubing and having a great time, like, I'll never forget that. I'd say for students applying to this program or having doubts if they should do it or not, just 100% do it. Like, it's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Like, I didn't fully get the experience yet because I haven't gone to Ireland yet, but when I go over there, I know I'm gonna love it. But just the experience of having them here, enriching them in our culture, showing them our daily lives and what we do and just the differences, it's a great experience. And it's gonna be an eye-opener for sure. Two great cultures, and it's just an eye-opening experience. So if you're looking at doing this program, definitely go out there and apply for it.
Well, that is all the talent and stories we have for you today. Caitlin, what did you think of this episode's interviews?
Mark, there's an immense amount of talent in this group of individuals, and I can't wait to see if it will be topped next month.
We'll have to wait and tune into the next episode to see. But for now,
have a great day, Spring Forward.